Good morning, Morningstar. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you're here. Yay! Welcome, welcome. Hello, Zoomers. Where's the camera? The Zoomers are here too. So great to see you. Zoomers, I have been on your side, and I love that you're here too. I want to see your faces. Thank you for being here. So excited. You guys, I'm Amy Thurman. This is my first time to facilitate today. So thank you for trusting me to be able to do this. I find it an honor. And I am telling you thank you in advance for understanding that I will be referring to my notes. And when I make a mistake, because it's bound to happen, I appreciate your understanding already. So thank you, thank you. Okay, I want to share just a short reflection real quick before we get started to kind of help us settle in and get ready to receive all of the amazingness that will be for us today. Let us take a moment to truly arrive. Let go of the rushing thoughts, the endless to-do lists, the quiet worries we carry within us. For these few moments that we're here, let us set them gently aside. Take a breath, deep and slow. Feel your feet resting on the ground beneath you, steady and sure. Feel the gift of air filling your lungs, reminding you that you are alive here and now. In this moment, we remember that gathering is sacred. When voices come together, new wisdom has room to rise. When hearts are open together, healing becomes possible. When spirits pause together, clarity and purpose find their way in. We don't know what today will stir within us. Perhaps a thought that lingers, a challenge that unsettles us, or a hope that takes root in ways that we don't see yet. So let us enter this time with a spirit of curiosity. Let us listen, not only with our ears, but with the deeper parts of ourselves that long for meaning and connection. May our listening be spacious enough to hold both questions and answers. May our hearts be soft enough to be moved. May our spirits be ready to be stirred, to be stretched, to be renewed. And may what we hear today not just wash over us, but stay with us, settling into the quiet places where real change begins, within us and beyond us. If you all should have a book in your chair. The order of service is on the back of that, and part of that is our vision statement, which is on the other side. And we're going to read this together. You can refer to the book. It will also be on the screen for the Zoomers. It's going to be on your screen. And we will read that together. Our Sunday gathering is designed to design encouragement to individually manifest our highest good and purpose in our lives. Inner direction is the key. We reinforce positive directions for our lives and the infinite potential within us. We seek connections to create an open atmosphere of acceptance of all backgrounds, races, and lifestyles. We come together in a spirit of inclusiveness, embracing all spiritual paths, honoring God in an atmosphere of unconditional love. Now it's time for our sing-along song, which is going to be I Can See Clearly Now on page 17. You all will stand and we can sing and enjoy that together, and that will be followed by our meet and greet.
See clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. Think I can make it now. all the pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue sky. Look straight ahead, there's nothing but blue sky. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day.
Morningstar. We love to visit. Oh my goodness. At Morningstar, we love each other so much that it's so hard to break away and come back, right? We love to visit. We love to hug necks. We love people. We just love this so much at Morningstar. It is so hard to break away during this time, right? We love to hug necks. We love people, and it's so hard to bring everybody back, but that's my role here, is to bring you back. So we're going to move into our next segment here, which is the special song by our band, our amazing band. We love them. Morningstar would not be the same without our band, am I right? Yeah? All right, band, hit it.
Crops are all in, peaches are ripening, oranges are piled up in creosote dumps. They're flying them back to the Mexican border to pay all their money to wait back again. My father's own father, he'd waded that river. He took all the money he made in his life. My brothers and sisters come working the fruit trees, and they rode the truck till it broke down and died. Goodbye to my Juan, goodbye Rosalita, adios mi amigos, Jesus and Maria. You won't have a name when you ride the big airplane. All they will call you will be D4T.
Some of us are illegal, some are not wanted. Our work contract's out and we have to move on. 600 miles to the Mexican border. They chase us like outlaws, like rustlers, like thieves. We died in your hills, we died in your deserts, we died in your valleys and died on your plains. We died neath your trees and we died in your bushes. Both sides of the river, we died just the same. Adios, mi amigos, Jesus and Maria. You won't have a name when you ride the big airplane. All they will call you will be deportee.
The sky plane caught fire over Lascaux Canyon. Fireball of lightning shook all our hills. Who are all these friends, all scattered like dry leaves? The radio says they're just deportees. this the best way we can grow our big orchards? Is this the best way we can grow our good fruit? Fall like dry leaves to rot on my topsoil and be called no name except deportee. Goodbye to my one, goodbye Rosalita, adios mi amigos, Jesus and Maria. You won't have a name when you ride the big airplane, and all they will call you will be deportee. All they will call you will be deportee.
Wow. Thank you, band. I'm curious if that is a recent song.
No, that's Woody
It's-
Guthrie.
Really?
It's Woody Guthrie song.
What a timely message, though,
Yeah.
for us today. Ooh, powerful.
And
Thank
I could
you.
add that it's based on a real event in which Mexican immigrants were being transported by plane back to Mexico when there was a crash in California in the 50s, I believe, quite a long time ago.
So powerful. Thank you. It is time for our chant, and that's going to be May the Longtime Sun on page 60. See, we'll do that, and then I'll introduce the meditator and the speaker.
May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surrounds you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long time sun shine upon May the longtime sun shine upon you. All love surrounds you, and the pure light within you guide your way. Guide your way
Always so beautiful. We're going to go into the meditation and then hear from our speaker today. Our meditation today is going to be led by our dearly beloved friend, Sandy C. And then following Sandy is going to be our speaker, who is today Kat Romero. I'm going to introduce Kat. Sandy will come do the meditation, and then Kat, you'll just come follow Sandy when she gets through with the meditation. Kat's title of her talk today is Tending the Garden, Collaborative Initiatives from People of Faith. Kat is the Director of Operations at the Oklahoma Faith Network. She has an MSW from OU and has worked in child welfare, field research, domestic violence, lots of experience in all of the parts of the world. Excuse me. She also hosts a podcast about Manito culture. Is that how you pronounce it? Manito? Of New Mexico. She's a board member and volunteer for the Friends of the Norman Library, and she loves genealogy, gardening, crafting, and she lives in Norman with, with her kitty, Callie. Kat was actually inspired by a program here at Morningstar. Don't you love that? To start a campaign to engage people of faith to be at the forefront of climate action and advocacy called Tending the Garden. She will share more about this today, about her program today, and the initiatives with her Oklahoma Faith Network. And those have 7 areas of focus: poverty, immigration, health, education, environment, criminal justice, and anti-discrimination. So I'm excited to hear from Kat. Sandy, if you'll come lead us in our meditation, and then Kat will follow.
Could we lower the lights? Okay. Mike's getting it, okay. All right. Well, good morning, everybody. I'm happy to be leading the meditation today. I've known Kat for several years she comes to my classes and also through the library connection, and really looking forward to her message today. So going along with her theme, I'm going to take you on a nature-guided meditation, and once we arrive at our destination in the woods, I'm going to lead you through, I'm going to read some of the words from a song that's in the book, The Sky and the Earth Touched Me, by Joseph Cornell. He's a meditation teacher and also the president of Sharing Nature Worldwide. And I met the author at a book conference, and he gave me some of his books. So when we do the words from the song, we're going to be doing some hand movements too. So I'll just give you a little heads up. So you'll need to open your eyes then to kind of see what I'm doing. But try to stay in the meditation too. All right. So let's begin by just bringing your arms around your shoulders. Just give yourself a hug. Do a little rocking side to side and forward and back till you feel like you're nice and centered over your sits bones. As you continue to settle in, just take a nice inhale through the nose. And as you sigh out through the mouth, release your hands to rest on your legs, palms up, or in a comfortable position. And allowing your eyes to softly close or lower your gaze. I'm going to be describing some scenes, some sounds, some sensations. So just see what part of your body, your mind will connect with. As you allow your eyes to softly close, lower your gaze. Bring your attention now along your forehead. And just imagine that you're looking out at a little TV screen or movie screen. And try to imagine the scenes that I will describe. So imagine that you're standing in a beautiful meadow full of flowers, wildflowers of all different colors and shapes. They're swaying in the breeze. You feel the warmth of the sun above you. And take a moment to look up at the beautiful blue sky, the puffy white clouds. And bring your gaze back down to the flowers in the meadow. You notice there's butterflies flying around from flower to flower, bees and hummingbirds. And now, begin to follow the butterflies as they lead you down a path that takes you towards the stream, walking mindfully as you notice your surroundings, feeling the cool breeze on your skin, the warmth of the sun. As you come closer to the stream, hearing the sound of the water splashing and bubbling over the rocks. And now walk along the edge of the stream, just listening to the sound of the water as it flows and bubbles. And continue walking along the stream, listening to the sound. And now the path turns and takes you towards the woods. So continue walking along this path towards the woods. As you step into the shade of the trees, you may hear some little creatures, the squirrels moving through the trees. You may hear some birds singing. As you continue to walk along the path, you might hear a little crunch of sticks beneath your feet. Just looking around, enjoying all the plants that are in the woods, the trees. And the squirrel is moving along through the tree. Just follow along the path, follow the squirrel, until you arrive to a clearing in the center of the woods. And stand in the middle of this circle, this clearing, and slowly turn around, just looking at all the different trees. There may be tall pines, big oaks, just any kind of tree that you enjoy is in this woods. And now, just pick one of the trees and walk over to it. As you stand before the tree, reach your fingers out and touch the bark of the tree. Just noticing the texture, noticing the pattern on the bark of the tree. And now, sitting down beneath this tree, feeling the support, the strength, the stability of the earth beneath you, feeling the strength of the tree supporting your back. And as we sit in this clearing, and settle into the stillness here. The animals from the woods begin to gather around the edges of the circle. There might be deer, fox, squirrels, rabbits, or lizards. And they gather around the circle. And so now I'll lead you through the words from the birds of the air. And for each line, there's a hand movement that goes with it. So we begin with the birds of the air are my brothers. So stretch your arms up and wave your hands like the wings of a bird. And release your arms back down. All flowers are my sisters. Bring your hand into a soft fist in front of you. Then spread your fingers wide like a flower opening. The trees are my friends. Reach up again and just let your arm wave like it's a branch in the breeze. And release your arm down. All living creatures, stretch your arms out in front of you. Welcome to all the creatures. Mountains, you can tent your fingertips together like a mountain peak. And streams, now move your fingers like the movement of the water. I take into my care, bringing one hand on top of the other at the heart, holding all of nature in your care. For this green earth is our mother. Sweep your hands out from the heart, reaching out to include the whole earth. Hidden in the sky is the spirit above, looking upward, reaching your arms towards the sky. I share one life with all who are here. Cross your hands at your heart. To everyone I give my love, release one hand out. To everyone I give my love, release out the other hand. And sitting here for a few more breaths in this beautiful place, this sacred space, the protected space. Looking around one more time at your surroundings, the animals that have gathered, the beautiful trees, the sun filtering in through the leaves, the gentle breeze on your skin. And take a moment to ask your brain and your body to record these feelings of peace, stillness, sense of calm. And take a moment to offer your gratitude to this beautiful place of that we've gathered in nature, for all that Mother Earth provides. And now it's time to stand up and begin walking back along the path, just listening to the little crunch of twigs beneath your feet, the birds that are singing, the gentle breeze, the rustling of the leaves. As you continue to walk out of the woods, moving back along the edge of the stream, listening to the sound of the water, noticing the sun dancing off the water. And now turning back and walking into the meadow where we began. Just standing there again, looking all around you, the beautiful flowers, the blue sky above, the puffy white clouds. And now, again, just asking the brain to make a little mental snapshot of this moment. It's a place you can go back to anytime. And now bring your attention back into the room that we're sitting in. And bring your hands together in front of the heart, placing palms together, resting your thumbs gently on your sternum. We're going to run our hands together. And then cup your hands over your eyes and just rest there for a couple of breaths. And then slowly release the hands away as you slowly open your eyes into your hands and relax your arms down.
Thank you, Sandy. That was amazing. And thank you to the band, because I swear yesterday, can you hear me okay? I have a ghost voice. It's very hard to hear. So yesterday, I swear, I heard I Can See Clearly Now, and I was telling John, this is my favorite song to sing at Morningstar. I wonder if they take requests as a joke. And then as soon as they made that announcement, I was like, oh my gosh. So it was meant to be. Thank you all so much for that little boost of energy. So thank you all for this opportunity. If you remember, many years ago, I did a talk on the spiritual practice of genealogy. That's a real throwback. But today, I appreciate this opportunity to talk about multi-faith and interfaith initiatives towards positive change. I know we've all been discouraged, is probably a little bit of an understatement lately, at what's been going on in our country. And I think it's helpful to look back on previous movements, previous initiatives, and look to the past about how people came together to be able to look forward to a path to a world that we want to see. So, okay, I'll just give you a little wink each time. So the Oklahoma Faith Network was founded in 1972 as the Oklahoma Conference of Churches. And we changed our name on our 50th anniversary to the Oklahoma Faith Network because whenever you heard the term, the words Oklahoma Conference and Churches, it paints a really vivid picture in your mind of what you think that means and who we are. It was actually pretty much the opposite of who we were. So we decided to change our name in 2022 to the Oklahoma Faith Network to more accurately capture who we represent, who we are. We were founded as an ecumenical coalition for advocacy and action around social justice issues, going back to even the 1930s before they were formally organized. But when you look at, we have a lot of Christian denominations. We have Mennonites, Methodists, Presbyterians, Episcopalians, all of these that fall under the network. We also have interfaith partners. We also have community organizations that support our work. And so we're really trying to harness the power of all of these different voices to progress on particular issues that matter to us. And we actually are the largest coalition of faith communities in Oklahoma, but you might not have heard of us before or know that we exist or such a thing existed because there is another voice of faith in Oklahoma that's very loud. So we're trying to be louder. If you look at some of these denominations, they're not always known for being loud. And so we want to sort of put all those voices together so that we can really amplify our voice of faith on some of these issues. So, and I had the honor, task, privilege of going through all of our archives at our 50th anniversary to put together a highlight video. And it's really, there's this ongoing theme of this unified voice working on particular issues of social justice that are popping up. So the one on the far is during the early stages of the AIDS crisis, OCC hosted a forum to educate people of faith, faith leaders on AIDS, what it was, and those early days when people didn't really know what was going on, and to encourage faith communities and people of faith to be a source of support, resources for that community, those are affected. The New York Times article was during the farm crisis in the 80s. Farmers in Oklahoma were very highly affected by that. And so OCC had a hotline taking up to 50 calls a day from farmers and families across the state looking for support. There was a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of suicide, a lot of mental health issues at that time, and they were there to provide support and resources. Lots of disaster relief. I mean, just the scope of what OCC had done over those years was really amazing, but the real basic tenet was really being that unified voice against hate and promoting religious tolerance and collaboration among a wide variety of faith traditions. So after the Oklahoma City bombing, OCC was very alarmed at minority faith traditions. People of minority faith traditions were really being targeted and discriminated against after the Oklahoma City bombing. And so that really launched a big interfaith component of what we did. And since then, it's really been woven into the fabric of everything that we do, is promoting the separation of church and state, religious freedom for everybody, and making sure that there's everybody is welcome at the table. We're going to love all of our neighbors, regardless of backgrounds, or I mean, very similar to the vision statement here. So our biggest event is the Interfaith Youth Tour. It's where we bring middle school and high school youth from all over the state to tour 3 diverse houses of worship. So last year, we toured Emmanuel Synagogue, the Islamic Society of Greater Oklahoma City, and the Vedic Temple, which is a Hindu temple. This year, ours is October 5th, and we're doing something a little bit different. We don't usually have Christian communities represented, but in fact, LDS and Catholics are a minority faith group in Oklahoma. So I think they face a lot of stereotypes and discrimination. So I think this will be kind of a cool year. I'm excited about it. And then we all also are doing the Vietnam Buddhist Center as well. And that's really been that ongoing thread of really making sure that we're serious about welcoming everybody to the table and understanding differences and welcoming those. Okay, so we mentioned the 7 focus areas. So this is really the coalition got together and looked at what are our areas of commonality, focus on what do we all have in common despite these differences in faith traditions, and came up with these focus areas that they really wanted to amplify. And each one of these is backed up by theological statements with scriptures, sacred texts, that really solidify that this is a part of who we are and this is the world that we want to see. And those really have guided our work. So really, again, we're harnessing the power of all of those voices to really try to affect some change in those areas. So when you look at 1972, when we were founded, a lot of organizations were founded in 1972. So going back to that time period, what was going on? You had a lot of historically marginalized groups that were wanting to take their place at the table. A lot of groups were starting to organize toward pushing that progress forward. And looking at some of these historical photos, like in the civil rights era, faith leaders and people of faith were literally at the front of these movements, literally on the front lines in marches and initiating these movements were people of faith. And we don't see that as much anymore. And there's a lot of factors that contribute to that. Another thing about 1972 is that was really a peak period of church attendance. People were showing up. You had big numbers of churches. If you think about churches that are built, especially in our state, were typically built during that time period because that's when they had the money to be doing those types of building funds and stuff like that. So the world has changed since then. For the last couple of decades, church attendance has gone down. Just participation in community organizations in general has gone down. And so really, what is that? What are the implications for that? You have faith communities that are maybe not in a position to be able to advocate the way that they used to. They don't have as many people. They don't have the money. Increasingly, faith leaders are worried about alienating older congregants who may be a little more conservative, that are the last financial contributors to the community or even to their livelihood. If you're a pastor, you're a faith leader, you're having to rely on the people in front of you each week to provide your livelihood. And so that's a little bit dicey, a really hard line. And then individual faith communities and then even denominations are not really as big of a force as they once were. In addition, younger people are not attending church as much or participating. And aside from financial implications, they're really starting to think that this is a real issue with like the contributing to the loneliness epidemic that we keep hearing about. This is a really great article in The Atlantic about, the people not going to church is not really necessarily all about loss of religion or loss of faith or whatever. It's really more about loss of community. And what do we get from community? If you've ever taken a mental health first aid course, I think that's the next slide, you learn about the elements of well-being, emotional well-being for humans. And spiritual is one of those. I was kind of shocked when I did the mental health first aid course. I was like, oh, wow, that's a whole component that's required for humans to flourish, to feel whole, that we have to be nourishing. And so when people don't have those types of communities, they don't have the protective factors that build resilience and well-being, and they don't have that support network, when things get hard, and things will get hard. They do get hard, that's life. In Oklahoma in particular, we have a whole large community of people who have been traumatized by the faith community that they grew up in. Some of you might be here today, that's might be why you're at Morningstar. And they don't know that there are healthy, safe communities that they can turn to, like Morningstar, that would welcome them in, that would be aligned with their values. So what does that mean for us? We have a whole society that's really missing a sense of connection to something greater than themselves, whether that's ancestors, spirit, a creator, that sense of belonging, that sense of purpose, that's really needed for us to feel whole. And so that's it's a big contributor to some of what we're seeing now. So if we turn to trying to sort of remedy some of that and bringing people back together, our initiative we just started was called the Evolution of Faith. It's trying to start these conversations about how we can engage people back into healthy, safe faith communities to restore some of that community. Our next one will be about young people, youngish people, what's young really, talking about what are some of those reasons that they don't participate in the faith tradition that they grew up in. And so we're looking at ways to sort of re-engage people. And so this is, all of these factors really highlight the need for collaborative interfaith initiatives to really bring people back together for the common good, around common values that are across faith traditions. So back to the basics, loving all of our neighbors, feeding the hungry, caring for the sick, caring for our earth, things that connect us as humans. So I think that it's interesting because you look at, I think it's the next one. We hear all about this division, right, in our society, that people can't talk to each other because of their differences. And this is really something to key into. This is just like from the last month. these two articles are about, these are actually from evangelical conservative church movements that are starting to come together around issues that are maybe not typically associated with their faith tradition, if they want to call that. But yet there's some movement here. People are more identifying into like values rather than like ideology in some of these spaces. And so that's really exciting. That's very good news. There's room here for some movement, some collaboration, some energy that's not so siloed. So a couple of examples where we're looking at using those collaborative initiatives to address some of the pressing issues that we're facing in our country right now. A major one is the threat of Christian nationalism, which I know we didn't hear a lot about until maybe the last couple of years, but now suddenly we're realizing that this has been building and building and building and infiltrating our public education, our legislature. And the last legislative session, there were several Christian nationalist bills that were prepared by people out of state to try to use Oklahoma as a testing ground to see how it would play out. And we were able to use the power of our collective voice to defeat and put down a lot of those bills. So this is supposed to be inspiring that there's hope, there's energy, there's still more that can be done using the power of our collective voice. And then the next one to that same end, as an example, First Congregational is going to bring us in to talk about addressing Christian nationalism in October. And rather than just having us just come to talk to them, they're inviting other Norman churches to be part of that conversation, so that it's not just, again, one community here, one community there, trying to do things with limited resources, limited manpower. Let's all get together and start to organize as a larger community over our shared values and the future that we want to see. And then, of course, my favorite, my baby. This is so exciting because this was all inspired by Olivia's presentation. So this is so exciting when I walked in and she's here. A couple of years ago, what was the title of your talk? Was it Morality of Consumerism or something like that? Yeah, it was a really great talk about people of faith being at the forefront of climate response and making intentional decisions about creation and sustainability. And so I was sitting there watching it on Zoom, and I was like, oh, I think I could actually I'm in a position to actually do something about this. And so I started tending the garden at OFN, and we've had a lot of really cool programming. A lot of it's educational. So we did do, the one up here was pretty recent about environmental justice, because this is a social justice issue. Marginalized communities are disproportionately affected by climate change. So this is a social justice issue. And then we've talked about, I had Kathy Bowden from University Lutheran. I'm a Norman girl, so I'm just like everything Norman, but we're statewide technically. But they've had the styrofoam recycling at University Lutheran, but they've also pulled together a wide variety of churches in Norman from different denominations that maybe don't agree on everything, but they do agree on this specific issue. And so they're collaborating to do these things together. And then when I thought about, how did I make changes in my own life towards living more sustainably, a little more gently on the earth, it was really just conversations that I had with friends about, did this work? What worked here? Could I fit this into my lifestyle? I don't think I could do that. I could do this. So those were the eco chats with Kat, where there's just a different topic of me chatting with a friend about the fights that I have with John about using the dishwasher and that kind of a thing. And then this year, this was the first year that Oklahoma had host sites for the National Faith and Climate Forum. So we were the Oklahoma City host for that. That's hosted by Blessed Tomorrow, which is a national organization that's kind of trying to do the same thing, bringing people of faith, communities of faith from all different traditions in solidarity of this particular issue and trying to move advocacy and action around climate change. They have a Blessed Tomorrow or a climate ambassador training that you can do online. I think, is that the class that you took that inspired you to speak? Yeah. Basically to be the ones that are really initiating some of these talks, these conversations, these movements. And we had quite a diverse group of denominations represented, communities represented. One Home, One Future is the name of their campaign at Blessed Tomorrow to get all these different denominations on board. So I am also, I think, hoping to have an in-person Blessed Tomorrow climate ambassador training. We'll see if that happens, but this has been just a really delightful thing to work on and to really provide a lot of hope towards change. So I appreciate the opportunity to talk today about some of these initiatives and hopefully inspire a little bit of hope. I think we can do this, but we have to work together. We can no longer sort of be this community over here doing our own little things. We really have to start to work together and really collaborate and just ignore the differences, whether they're small or they're large. There are still some areas of humanity where we have those common threads that we can really pull together. So I do think we can keep moving forward. We're just going to have to work together. The Oklahoma Faith Network is a nonprofit. As with most nonprofits right now, it's looking a little grim in the grant area, so donations are always welcome. So I appreciate if you want to follow us, engage with us on social media. We're always doing just something different. We're doing a Creation Stories program with different faith traditions, creation stories. We have an immigration program that's coming up, so I appreciate the song there. And we can do this. We're just going to have to stick together and work as a team. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Kat. What a beautiful message. I love how you have taken a need and done something about it, put it into action and done something about it. Excuse me. My question now is, how can we take that into the world beyond Oklahoma? Like the whole world needs that, right? So sorry. So thank you. Mike told me I could have creative liberties today, so I'm going to do something different. You might regret this, Mike. As an educator, it's just part of who I am. It's just what I do. And I noticed that we come here and we gain awareness. We gain awareness and we gain all this information. And then we go out into the world and it like, where did it go? What's happening? And so I feel like we're missing that piece from awareness to application. And so I just want to take like 2 minutes. I want to be respectful of your time. I don't want this to be long and extended. But Olivia, can you pull up the Zoomers' faces and maybe their chat? Is there anything in there that I want to know, and I'm going to ask for one of you who wants to come to the front, to the microphone, to share something that you gathered and maybe an action that you're going to take because of it. But our Zoomers, I want to get them involved. I've been on that end, and we feel forgotten sometimes as Zoomers. And so I want to bring them in and see what they have to say and ask them beforehand. Olivia asked them beforehand to comment when they had something that resonated. They loved your meditation, Sandy. All right. So there are some other comments there, but and they're not used to this. Like, this is the first time this has ever happened. I'm asking them for their input, right? So I do. Is there anyone here that would like to come up to the microphone and share maybe a takeaway and something that you're going to put into action because of that? Judy, come on up. So the price is right. You're the winner. Come here. You got to talk. You have to talk into the microphone. We got to remember the Zoomers.
This is about the environment.
I love you.
It's the topic about the environment.
Okay, that's fine, yeah.
Okay. You're prepared to hate me.
Never.
Many of you know that I've lived 20 years overseas. In the 1980s, I lived in Germany. And then there was a regulation in the 1980s that drivers could run their cars could idle. I'm sorry, I have sinus problems. Idle for only so many minutes without being ticketed. I come home to Oklahoma and I'm surprised. I'm in Target. I go into the store. I come out and the same young lady who was parked beside me about 40 minutes earlier still running her car. I've been to Brahms. Go in, people are in their cars eating ice cream. I go by the Sonic at noontime, and people are in the spaces where you order. Oh, this is so bad. Eating their lunch with their engines going. Can you imagine the amount of emissions we could have saved the universe if we had had a similar regulation in the 80s? So thanks for your patience.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Judy. Thank you. Now, as an educator, I'm going to give you some homework. Before you leave here today, I want you to find 2 other people and share a takeaway and maybe an action that you're going to take. Kat, I have a friend who is a religious trauma therapist. I'm going to connect her with you. That's one of the actions that I'm going to take. So put it into action. Don't just take the awareness. Do something to put it into action and make that happen today. All right. Educator. Thanks, Mike. All right. Thank you, guys. It is time for us to move into an even deeper gratitude portion of our service where we get to give thanks for what we have, what we've been given. I want to ask you, raise your hand if you find value in Morningstar. Anything that Morningstar does is their value to you, right? All of us, right? That's why we're here. That's why we're here, right? But I want to make sure that you are aware that Morningstar is a nonprofit, just like Kat was talking about her nonprofit, that we are a nonprofit and that a lot of us put a lot of energy, a lot of people put a lot more energy than I do, energy into making this work, to being here, to providing all of this for you every week so that it flows. And that's energy that we're giving out, but there has to be an equal energy exchange. You know, energy has lots of forms. Money is energy, time's energy, volunteering is energy. So there are lots of ways that we can do an equal energy exchange, and that is required for this to flow freely and to work well. And so this is a time for you to choose which of those energies that you would like to give back, that you would like to exchange here at Morningstar. People are going to pass the baskets, and there are on the table out here are ways that you can sign up to volunteer to help set up and make sure I don't forget anything. Set up and break down. If you have speaker recommendations, meditation, discussion groups, all kinds of ways that you can help. So this, it's time for us to refer to the offering prayer on the back of the book and on the screen. Recognizing God as the source of my supply, I joyously give of God's abundance, which is blessed and multiplied through me, and so it is. Gray, hit me. That's a great question. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Sacra. Right. Okay, Gray is asking if there is a national law against idling, that he lives across the street from Walmart and that those big trucks sit and idle all the time. And so I don't have the answer to that. I'm sure someone could look that up or research. Oh, you did. Oh, Gray is saying there is a law. There is a law against it. Okay.
Reason that
Okay.
the large trucks,
Some states do. Okay, so that's one thing that Gray's going to pursue. That's one action he's going to take. Thank you, Gray, for sharing that. Yeah.
There's a reason that the large trucks do
And
that.
is it you?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. Gonna mulch it deep and low, gonna make it fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, please bless these seeds I sow. Please keep them safe below till the rain comes tumbling down. Pulling weeds, I'm picking stones. We are made of dreams and bones. I need a spot to call my own, 'cause the time is close at hand. Grain for grain, sun and rain, I need to do body and brain to the music of my brain and the music of the land. I'm gonna make this garden grow. I'm gonna pinch it deep and low. Gonna make it fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row. Please make this safe God so. Please keep it safe below till the rain comes tumbling down. Plant your rows straight and long, season them with the prayer and song. Mother Earth will keep you strong if you give her love and care. Old crow watching from a tree, he's got his hungry eyes on me. In my garden, I'm as free as a tethered thief up there. Inch by inch, row by row, I'm gonna make this garden grow. I'm gonna mulch it deep and low, gonna make it fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, please bless these seeds I sow. Please keep them safe below till the rain comes tumbling down.
Thank you, band. That is Frank, Jeffrey, Daryl, and Ken. Thank you. We love you. Love us some Morningstar band, right? Thank you to Olivia for the tech. Excellent job. And then whoever did setup, I don't know who did setup. Those people back there, they did setup. Yeah, thank you, whoever did setup. And then the finance teams, Mary, Karen, all of you guys, thank you so much for all of the energy that you're giving to Morningstar. And did you hear Kat say what I heard her say? That Morningstar is self-care. Did you hear her say that? That's what you meant, right? That it's self-care. We're a form of self-care. Great. Okay, it's time for announcements. Anne, do you want to come talk about the things that you're offering? Yeah, if you'll come up to the microphone. And then Charlotte also has an announcement. Where did Charlotte go? Oh, right there. Okay, yeah. All right, yeah, come over here and briefly share what you have there and how they can reach you.
Oh, sure. These are decree booklets, and they're prayer booklets. This one is published by the Mount Shasta Publishing Company. And this is a book of violet flame decrees that were issued in the 1930s by Saint Germain, who's the patron saint of the United States. These were introduced to me in the 1980s by a lady, A.D.K. Luck, who lived in Oklahoma for a number of years. At any rate, I will post a.
You have those to offer, right?
Right, I have these for free, if anyone is interested, and they address everything from social, political, economic, environmental, all the things we've been talking about today here, justice, and the way that we can invoke the higher powers to intercede on our behalf. It is because we have free will that we have to ask them to come to our aid. And this is the way we do that, through our affirmations and our prayers. A decree is affirming something and a prayer is asking for something, but both are valuable. And so I will post a list on the bulletin board with my contact information, and write down your name, phone number, and what night. If we could set something up on a daily basis, not a weekly basis, rather, during the day or in the evening, just put down a time that would be good for you if you're interested in this, and I'll see if I can't coordinate things and kind of get things going here. But anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Anne. Beautiful. What a gift. What a gift, Anne. So if you're interested in that, see Anne. Zoomers, if you could just put in the chat. Is that okay, Olivia? If they put in the chat, if they're interested in that, we can connect them with Anne. Charlotte, come on up here. And then Sandy after Charlotte.
Okay, a week, can you hear me? No. A week from next Saturday is our Sisters in Spirit Fall Retreat. And I brought some more flyers because we were out, so there's more flyers out on the table. Two things I want to encourage. Number one, we need to know how many are coming by September 17th, which will be a week from this Wednesday. The reason being, we don't know how many tables to set up, how many chairs to set up. And second, I am preparing packets for each individual for one of our activities. So I need a head count and time to get those prepared. So I hope, if anybody has any questions about Sisters in Spirit, free to ask. I'll be around after the service. And I hope you'll join us. Thank you.
Well, a couple of things came to mind after Amy asked for some takeaways or actions we can take from this. And you may not be aware, in Norman, and they said the word fertile grounds during the song, and that's what reminded me. Fertile Grounds is an organization up in Oklahoma City that collects food scraps, and then they compost it, make it into a compost that they can sell. And for a long time, we subscribed. They came to our house, picked up our bucket every week. And then now the city of Norman has drop-off places. And one of them I know is at Norman East. I'm not sure where the others are. But it's a simple thing you can do. You can go to the City of Norman website or to Fertile Grounds and find out. All it takes is a bucket. You can get the liners, the compostable liners that No Natural Grocer has them. So that's one thing. And then also September 28th, it's a Sunday, the Norman's Monarchs in the Park is happening. I think it's at the Ruby Grant Park this year, but that's a way you can learn about how to support pollinators in your own yards. So that's coming up, and it's always fun. But I'd also like to share again that we'll be doing a Good Vibrations Sound Immersion Experience is going to be the fundraiser for Norman Cultural Connection. It's on Saturday, September 27th from 1 to 3. And this is going to be, the funds from this is going to go to help support the group of Tibetan monks that we're bringing in November. They'll be here November 2nd to 11th. And this is another way, like Kat was talking about, they'll be doing their sand mandala at St. John's, so it's a community effort. they'll be giving lectures, and so there's several members of the group, and they stay here for a week, and so they need to be fed and taken care of while they're here, so all the money goes to help to support that. But it'll be a sound immersion experience with me, Callie, Kathy, and Rachel, so we'll have our full group. And that's from 1 to 3 on September 27th. You can go to Norman Cultural Connection website or to the Facebook page for the registration. There is limited space, and that's going to be at St. Stephen's Church. And again, as Kat mentioned, all the nonprofits, their grants have been cut. We lost one of our major grants for this, so we'll also be taking donations of Mind, Body, Spirit books. So if you want to bring those the day of and you're coming to the event, you can just bring them to the church. And I've got a few flyers out there on the table too. Thanks.
And the acoustics there at the St. Stephen's are really nice. I don't know if you've ever experienced that or not, but what you do should really work well there. Yeah.
They got a nice big community room. It's got a nice big space.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Catherine wanted me to remind you of the book exchange out here in the lobby, that there are also DVDs out there that you can take, give, whatever you want. All of that's out there. See Catherine? Wave your hand, Catherine, if you have questions. All right, thank you. Okay, let me introduce next week's speaker. I know we're over time, apologize. Next week's speaker is Christy Sharp. Her title is The Awakening Path, How Spirit and QHHT, which I'll tell you in a minute what that means, saved my life. She's a level 3 quantum healing hypnosis technique practitioner and the founder of Christy Sharp Quantum Healing. After a life-altering brain injury ended her 20-year career, been there, as an accountant, Christy began a profound spiritual journey that led her to the work of Dolores Cannon, if you're familiar with Dolores Cannon, the founder of QHHT. Through this method, she not only found deep personal healing, but also discovered a calling to help others access their inner wisdom, past lives, and experience deep healing. Facilitating these sessions has helped Christy overcome debilitating depression and reconnect with her soul's purpose. Her work is now devoted to holding space for transformation, healing, and spiritual awakening through the powerful voice of the higher self. She will share how the process of guiding others through these sessions has been just as healing for her as it is for her clients. And just so much more. There's so much in this. I want to share it all with you, but I want to respect your time as well. So next week, definitely come. It's going to be worth it, like it is every week. What is next? Our prayer for protection. On the back of your songbook or on the screen, our prayer for protection. We will say that, and then we will join up for the peace song. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well, and so it is.
Let's hear it for